everyone, we are here at Murrindindi today. We are going to Toolangi tomorrow and we have 4 cars, going to do a little bit of 4-wheel driving and get out and about. Stay tuned to Out and About with Sannasa.
So we are enjoying the fire in Murrindindi. This is northeastern of Melbourne, about 100 km from Melbourne City. It took us about 1.5 hours to come here on traffic on a Friday afternoon. Enjoying the fire for the night. We'll leave in the morning, wake up around 7:30 and then have breakfast and planning to go to Toolangi and check a couple of tracks.
Good morning everybody, we're here at Murrindindi. We've got bacon and eggs, sausages for breakfast. We've got a little fire going which we'll put out later before we leave the campsite. The sun's just rising over to our east. This is a north-south facing valley, so the sun tends to get up fairly late and also go down early in the morning. And you also, if you look around at all of the cars and the ground, there's a lot of dew and moisture around, so it's been a pretty wet and damp night, but we've all been warm in our swags and tents, so it's all been good.
So we have 4 cars today. We are going to Toolangi after the breakfast and we're going to do a couple of tracks, and James and Mark is going to leave a little bit early, but we'll check a couple of tracks and see how it goes.
Should be alright for some of the tracks we're going to go on to, and you'll see later on the footage how we went.
We'll see how the Pajero will handle with the big trucks, yeah?
Okay, Jeff, explain me the process of air down and why we are doing it.
Yeah, it's a really good question and something we need to do when we're 4-wheel driving. So airing down serves a couple of purposes. The first is to make the tyres a lot softer. This means that they're less likely to be punctured by sharp rocks. The second is that it actually increases the footprint of the tyre. So when you air down and you see a flat tyre, it's lengthened but also widened, and that gives you a lot more traction and a lot more grip. How far you air down is going to depend on the sort of 4-wheel driving you're doing. So the sort of thing we're doing here today, a standard car, 22 psi front, 24 rear because they're normally a little heavier in the rear. Maybe a ute, you would do 24 and 24. If you get rocky and rough or slippery and wet, you might go down to 18 and 20. In soft sand, you'll be looking at 16 to 18 psi, even down as far as 12 or 13 psi, just to get a really big, flat, wide surface on your tyre. And when you drive in sand a lot, you'll notice the difference in how easily the car moves across the sand. If you go out in sand with tyres like this, I'm guaranteed to get bogged. If I let them down to 16 psi and 18 at the back, I'm a lot less likely to get bogged and the car will float over the sand a little bit better. Okay, so when we're airing down, the quickest way to do it is a little tool like this. I've got tyre pressure monitors on here. So that's going to go wirelessly to the inside of the car, and if I get a flat tyre or the tyre loses pressure, I'm going to get an alarm from that. So with these airing down, we screw this on and then we push this in and take the valve out, pull it out, So you see we're at 30 psi. I'm going to take these down to about 20. And then once we get the desired pressure, tighten that up, pull this out, and then we can screw it off. The other thing I'll do at the same time as airing down my front tyres is lock in my front hubs into four-wheel drive, because most of the vehicles you'll see here today will automatically lock the front hubs. I've got manual locking hubs, so it means when I want to go into four-wheel drive, I've got to get out, turn this. When I want to go into two-wheel drive, I've got to turn the lever back. So I'll put that on and do the other three.
So we are packed and we are about to leave. Just before we leave, one of the major things that we have to do is put the fire out. If you're not attended at the fire, you have to put the fire out. It's very important while you're camping. So Jeff is gonna stir this up and put some water. Let's talk about that, Jeff.
So yeah, good point, Kate. We have a river down there with lots of water, so we've got a couple of buckets of water. It normally takes between 20 and 40 litres of water to put a fire properly out. It depends on the size of the fire. So this one is very shallow. It's not going to take as much water to put out, but I've also seen fires that are, you know, burning 30 centimetres deep because of all of the ash and coal that's in there. So we'll just throw some water on this fire.
Get that?
Spread it around a little bit. You can see this one's not burning very hot. When we're done, just give it a slosh around, make sure it's all out. That's probably a little bit much water for this fire, but we certainly know it's well and truly out. And the other thing is, I can touch it. So when you can touch the top of the fire and not burn your hand, then you know the fire's out.
We're leaving the campsite and going to do the marginal track first. We're going out here and turning left. We're gonna do this slide. This was a mud slide last time, but at the moment it's dry and it's nice, firm. So there's no stopping. He's gonna come back and go up that side.
We've got the Triton stuck, mainly because it's a stock vehicle on standard tyres and these ruts are a little bit deep for it. So it's bellied out, we've used some max tracks, we've got the vehicle as far as we can, and rather than just sit here and keep spinning wheels, we're going to winch it out instead. So we've got our winch vehicle up here. We haven't chosen to attach it to anything because I don't think we've got a massive load on it. It's not going to pull that vehicle down the hill. On a really steep hill, we'd actually attach the back of that vehicle to a tree so that it can't move while we winch this vehicle up. So Lahiru's just getting the winch equipment out and we'll set the winch up and I'll talk you through it. Now we've got a live winch rope. I'm going to go up and help Lahiru and I'll direct the winch operation. The reason we've used an equaliser strap here is because these recovery points aren't really heavy duty. They're good, but they're not really thick, so we want to balance the load across the front of the vehicle and make the winching operation easier.
So Jeff, explain me what's the difference between the Geo Patrol and the Triton.
Okay, so there's quite a few differences in just the make of the vehicle, but the Triton is a stock vehicle, so we haven't modified the ride height of the suspension. It's running stock tyres. They're good all-terrains, but the problem it had here was the deep ruts, and it's continuing to bottom out on its differentials. So if you look underneath at the differentials on the vehicles, mine's quite a bit higher off the ground. So my car's got a 2-inch lift. I've gone up a tyre size, so I've got a little more ground clearance around the diff. And the other dirty thing I did was put my diff lock on. So I've got a front diff lock, which means that all of the spinning of the front wheels that you saw on the Triton isn't going to happen on my car. For me to spin wheels, I've pretty much got to have all 4 of them spinning at once. So when I lift a wheel a little bit or one comes a little bit off the ground, the opposing wheel will continue to spin if it has good traction. So even with all of the traction control on some of the new cars, once you get stuck, they still can struggle a little bit, particularly when you're bottomed out.
That's a good explanation of why you need to modify your car and how you should do it according to what you're doing. So James and Mark, they're gonna head out now. So we're gonna say goodbye to them, and me and Jeff with Lahiru, we are doing the couple more tracks and see how it goes in Toolangi. So James and Mark, thanks for coming, and Taki, we'll see you out and about.
Yes, Lily. Thank you.
The track isn't on my HEMA. Where do you want to get to on pylon track?
So we have 3 tracks here, and we are going to take the middle one. We check the depth, so we know that we're definitely not going to do this. Jeff, can we check the depth? Well, that's a no-go. The last time we checked this depth, we got someone into the bog hole. That was a fun times. So we're going to check the depth of this one so we can have an idea how far it goes. Yeah, it's about a foot, so that's the most comfortable, sensible one that we are going to take, because this one,
It's got 1.5 foot of mud in it.
yeah,
So about this much mud.
yeah. So when you're doing a track, you need to make sure which one you're taking, because at the end of the day, you need to get through it, as well as you need your vehicle safe as well. So you're more than welcome to go in here, but the chance of you coming out of that bog hole is very less. So we're going to take a safe track, but at the same time, it's going to be a fun one. let's see. So it's been a really fun day in Toolangi. We did a couple of tracks and had some nice bog holes, rocky tracks, and it's a really good campsite for us. A nice camp at last night, and I gotta thank Jeff for coming along with us, and Lahiru, thank you so much, and James and Mark who left before, and thank you guys.
Thank you for having us. It's been an awesome time out in Toolangi. Really good fun. There's lots of tracks out here to explore. So, you know, these are some of the medium sort of tracks. There's a couple of really hard ones around here as well. So it's all good fun to be explored in the future. Thank you.
Yep, and yeah, thanks Kay for organising everything, and again, the Pajero survived another trip.
The page has done well. Come on.
The underdog.
I had to put it in there.
Thank you. Thanks for watching us, and see you in the next episode with Out and About with Sannasa.